Think we good. Y'all already know what's good, y'all. What's good, y'all. What's good, y'all. What's great. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get It Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. I'm joined my co-host, my brother from another mother. Blood couldn't make us any closer. One of the best photographers in the world. My brother, Santana. Say something to the people.
What's good? What's good? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else, but y'all here with us tonight. And for that, we thank you. And always, we have a jam-packed show. We're going to get right into it. You heard?
Indeedy, thank y'all for tuning in. As always, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11,000 subscribers, so continue to help us grow the show by joining the membership, by liking, subscribing, hitting the all notification bell. Just never know we're going to pop up on this channel. So make sure y'all continue to help us with the growth of the show by tuning in and also engaging in the chat live. So thank y'all. We appreciate it. Amazingly. Shout out to the show's sponsor, uh, Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, Button Snaps, that's button hyphenated sign, snaps.com. So make sure y'all go to it. Also, y'all already know, man, first segment of the night. Y'all already know popular opinions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records. You see it right there. Yes, where the label model is create, document, and inspire. So the label, so you could go to Instagram right now at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. Y'all already know, first segment of the night, popular opinions. Remember, y'all, this is not our questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions, y'all. All right. All right. First, before I go into the questions, shout out to some of our day ones. We got day ones in the building. We got badge holders in the building. Shout out to Treatment, yours. Shout out to Culture. Shout out to King P. He gifted somebody a membership, so that a thank you is in order. Shout out to the Quiet Kid Backpack. Thank you for tuning in, popping in. You got gifted. You got gifted a membership, so some thank yous is in order. Send it to King P Way, and shout out to Winter, man. So shout out to y'all for tapping in, and y'all already know what time it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing but the love game over here. Pause. All right, y'all. First question of the night. Most funny movie on this list. Most funny movie on this list. Number one, Can't Hardly Wait. Number two, American Pie. Number three, Clueless. Number four, Ferris Bueller Day Off. These are all classics, by the way, too. So let us know what y'all think in the chat. American Pie. Why you going with American Pie? Pie got it. All right. For me personally, I'm gonna go with Clueless. Clueless to me was just so different, so funny to me. I wasn't expecting it to be funny when I first seen Clueless, but I ain't gonna hold you. The Stacey Dash character and Donald Faison character, they just brought it for me, personally, because they put a brother into the movie. You know what I'm saying? With a cast full of the white folks. You know what I'm saying? And then he was able to do his thing within the role or whatever. And I just thought it was hilarious. So me personally, I'm gonna go with Clueless on this list. My brother went with American Pie. The rest of the world. The chat also went with American Pie. The rest of the world at 35% went with American Pie. What do you think about that?
Funny movie, like classic, hilarious comedy movie.
Funny movie. All these are classics. All these are a good time. I'm not gonna hold you. All these are a good time. But the people spoken. Uh American Pie is what they going with at 35%. It was a close race though. A lot of people were saying Ferris Bueller, but Ferris Bueller is cool. It's a classic. It has its moments, but it's not bust. bust your gut wide open. You know what I'm saying? For me, you know what I'm saying? It's a classic. So I'm not trying to. I don't want people to come at me in the chat talking about yo, nah, it's a classic. It's a classic, but it ain't messing with, in my opinion, Clueless or even American Pie. American Pie is hilarious. So shout out to the chat as well. All right, y'all. Moving on to our second popular opinion question: most violent city on this list. Most violent city on this list. Number one, St. Louis. Number two, Baltimore. Number three, Philly. Number four, New Orleans. Again, y'all, most violent city in the US on this list. Number one, St. Louis. Number two, Baltimore. Number three, Philly. Number four, St. Louis. I'm sorry, New Orleans. I said St. Louis. New Orleans. Which one you think, bro?
That's the one that's been more consistently violent in the last 5 years.
That's true. Which is crazy to me. But St. Louis is in a different part of where the Kansas City Chiefs has been, because we said it before. Like anytime there's a good football team, the violence in the city is different. But St. Louis and Kansas City, even though it's not in the same area. You see what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like worlds apart, but it's in the same state. You know what I'm saying? As far as where the team play and where the city's located. But when St. Louis had the Rams, it didn't feel like that all that violence was going on in St. Louis for some reason. You know, just me personally, just a personal observation. Um, Me, I'm gonna go with Philly, bro. I'm gonna go with Philly. Philly's a wild place. They didn't have Camden, New Jersey, and Camden is like right next to Philly. So I know they like to boost their numbers up with Camden, New Jersey. So me personally, I'm gonna go with Philly. Philly is a wild place, and they they gets busy over there. So I'm gonna go with Philly. My bro went with St. Louis. The rest of the world at 47% went with New Orleans. What do you think about that?
Violent
Yeah,
for a number of years, but I don't know about recently.
right, right, right. So just to put y'all up on game, right? Because again, this is what our perception is. This is not the actual factual. Now, these four cities is the most violent cities, but coming in number four was Philly. Number three was Baltimore. Number two was St. Louis, and number one was New Orleans, which is surprising to me because I've been in New Orleans at least three times in the last 2 years, and every single time I had me a good time. I did not feel safe. You know what I mean? Like I always had a good time in New Orleans. But the locals will say, no, bro, it gets real out here. And I'm like, I believe you. I'm not gonna go back and forth with that. I'm just saying, I'm seeing the good part of New Orleans and I'm out at the mall, I'm out with the locals. So, I don't again, from what I seen, from where I was at, it was a good time, had me a good time. So kind of surprising that they was on this list and that they're the number one city, period, in the United States. So, and 47% is crazy, but the real fact that matter is they're number one. All right, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Now, this question went viral on TikTok, so I had to bring this up, and then I seen it on YouTube, so I seen there was a common thread. New York City boroughs edition. Who has the sexiest women according to the boroughs? Okay. Number one, Queens. Number two, Brooklyn. Number three, the Bronx. Number four, Manhattan. Which one you going with, bro?
One's Queens.
Queens? Why you going with Queens?
Number one, like I've seen all the biddies in Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, and the Bronx. I'll always go with Queens.
Answer might surprise you, bro. I'm gonna go with Queens too. My ladies from Brooklyn, don't be mad at me. I love y'all. My Manhattan women, don't be mad at me. I love y'all too. And shout out to the Bronx women know how to show you a good time when you come up to the Bronx. They may not have 250 to get on the train, but they gonna show you a good time though. You know what I mean? But I have to give it to Queens. Like in Queens, like it's so many houses in Queens. And if you uncover these houses, nothing but women coming out these houses, and these women be bad. Like I'm not even gonna hold you. So like shout out to Queens. To me, it's Queens. To my bro, it's Queens. In the chat, they laughing. They saying Manhattan is they saying Manhattan 4 is Manhattan. The rest of the world at 37%. I'm guessing this is all New Yorkers that's speaking on it instead of the rest of the world for real. At 37% went with Queens. What do you think about that?
New Yorkers speaking in unison with that one. You know what I'm saying? Hands down. They're more calm in Queens.
Bro, I mean, I'm trying to like I didn't know it was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I start making my way downtown to Queens, and then Jamaica Center, then I'm over on Farmers, and then I'm over on the other side, then I'm on Flushing, and then I'm on the other side. And I was like, yo, it's everywhere I went. You know what I'm saying? Flushing Meadows. It was always a good time. So either way, you know what I mean? So shout out to Queens, you know what I'm saying? But again, my Brooklyn ladies, don't be mad. It's just more nice looking women there. I'm not saying there's it's bad chicks in Brooklyn, but it's just more in Queens. Y'all don't, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. It's cool. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, Hollywood Need to Ask Us segment. We came up with the segment because there's a lot of trash ass movies in Hollywood with no thought, no imagination, no creativity, and we didn't ask for none of these movies. I will give an exception for like the last few couple of weeks. We've been getting some fire movies, but overall we've been getting trash movies, and we got better ideas. You want to start this one off? All right, so Hollywood needs to ask us. I want to see a movie of the making of Rockstar, the video game software company that produces one of the most fire games in the world, which is Grand Theft Auto. And they changed the game ever since they done touchdown. And I would love to see give me a 12 episode series, docu-series style, a good hour, 10 minutes apiece on how it started and where they're at right now. I know a lot of people probably mad with this answer because because Rockstar has just recently announced that GTA, their latest game, is going to be delayed until May 20, May of 2026. So they just made that announcement that the next Grand Theft Auto won't be out until then. So, but in the in between time, I would love to see how it started and where it is right now, and it's so pivotal, and the ideas what made them even want to come up with a game. My favorite game out of all the Grand Theft Autos is still San Andreas. I know the 5 is fire. It is fire. I'm loving 5, but it's something about San Andreas, the playing, using the character Carl, and being able to, what I'm saying, take over the ballers, and what I'm saying, still be down with the Groove Street. It's just a fire game overall. So I still love that game. So, but I would love to see the making of Rockstar, the brainchild, the tries, the fails, and for them to give it to the world and for us to receive it. So yeah, so that's the docu series I would love to see. What do you think about that?
Be fire. We definitely need to see the backstories of the programmers over the years, what games they've been that they were behind on, what projects they were attached to and stuff like that, especially all the games. Even when they had whatchamacall, what was that shooting game? Where you had to use painkillers and it was slow time, and then you'd be able to shoot all your enemies and stuff. I forgot the name of that game, Pain or something, but it was just too many lit games on there. So it'll be lit to see the documentary series about the programmers.
Yeah, I think it will be fire. And at the end of the day, Like the only game that I thought was out of pocket, they had something when we was like kids, and they try to like throw under the bus like Haitians, like Haitian people, like you know what I'm saying? Like they would have some kill the Haitians or something like that, and they put that in the game, and then they got such a negative reviews. Like, nah, y'all can't do that. Like, yo, what y'all doing? Like, yo, get that out of here, yo. We not jacking that at all, yo. But outside of that, it was just a fire company. They've been on point, except for that blemish, you know what I'm saying, on their list. But that was a different time when they tried to get that off. So shout out to them. Shout out to Suarez in the building. Don't be a weirdo. If you're here to show love, we appreciate it. But if you're here to show love, I mean, if you're here not to and you're here to troll, the statement is crazy off the rip, bro. Get a life. If you're here to show love, if you're trying to be funny, we love a good joke, but come on, man. That's just trash. Shout out to Ron in the building, man. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Appreciate you. Far Cry, yeah, Far Cry is fire. Far Cry is fire. Yeah.
My Hollywood needs to ask us. I think it's about time that they need to go in on the 100-year war, which is also called the Gullah Geechee Wars, which was between the 18th and 19th century, and it was primarily in the southeastern United States, which is Georgia, North and South Carolina. So that's majority of the areas where the Gullah Geechees are indigenous to. And they were fighting against the French, Spanish, English, and Dutch for over 100 years. So I feel as though there's a movie or a series of movies that needs to showcase this, how our ancestors warred and fought with our enemies for a very long time. And they need to display this fake image about us being enslaved, because it doesn't make no sense if you study the Gullah Geechee Wars, because how could they enslave you, bring you to this country, and then you have a revolt, and then you use the terrain of southern Carolina, and the swampy areas as your main deterrent to keep your enemy forces at bay. So my question is, how would you know the terrain if you've never been here before? So that's why I feel studying the Gullah Geechee Wars, which is also called the 100-Year War, is very important to understand that there's a misnomer about you being enslaved for 400 years. How could that be if you was fighting your enemy for 100+ years? So I'd love to see a movie about the Gullah Geechee Wars, which is also called the 100-Year Wars. And the Gullah Geechee is a tribe, as I mentioned, in North, South Carolina, in the Georgia area. So I'd love to see an intact. We can start with the documentary series first, tap into all the ancestors and all the peoples that are still alive to this day that still claim the name in these areas, tap into their family history and tap into their lineage and all that stuff. And then from there, we can start with movies. So I want a whole deal. I want some documentaries. I want some TV shows. I want some movies. You know what I'm saying? Put everybody on. You know what I'm saying? We got all types of roles for everybody. So let's get it going. And I want to see a nice documentary moving into a movie and series about the Gullah Geechees.
Fire. That's fire. I wonder if they tied that into. I don't know if you're super familiar with the Godfather of Harlem, but there's been several times they have made mention that that Bumpy Johnson, he was Geechee, and then he ran the Geechee club in Harlem, and so they made mention of that like several times. So I wonder if his lineage goes back to the Gullah Geechee, his peoples from the that time as well too, from the Carolinas as well, and into Georgia as well too. So I wonder if that's connected through that.
Because you gotta remember the late 1910s, early 20s, when Harlem was bustling, and it was a place, it was a black beacon for everybody who was melanated. It was an influx of people coming from the South. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Mhm.
where they came from.
Yeah, that's a lot of
So,
my, you know what I'm saying?
and then they've always been traveling. Another one is the Trail of Tears. They'll show you image of the so-called Native Americans, but they're not true Native Americans, because if they were, they wouldn't be called Native American. They would just be called indigenous. They're not indigenous, so that's why they're called natives, because they're not actually true natives of this land. If you were, you would just be indigenous or aboriginal. So it's always in the name that showcase who they are. And then there was many times of Gullah Geechees coming up here. If you see documentaries of the early 20s of Harlem. They would talk about Gullah Geechees. And, you know, when you in New York, niggas is always looking at niggas from the South funny. So Geechee was like a derogatory term, you know what I'm saying, at one point to try to play people from the South. But that was really like their tribal name.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. Like by the time we was growing up, that term, you know, like every era, like it gets a little better when it comes to like the dying of like the terminologies when people first came and stuff like that. So like I remember, you know, going back to Haitian people, like Haitian people used to have it rough when I was a kid back in Brooklyn. And it was kind of like a derogatory thing for somebody to admit that they was Haitian. I never got it. And half my friends was Haitian. And at the time they used to like kind of play like Jamaican because the Jamaican culture was supposed to be cool at the time. And I was like, damn, that don't make any sense to me as a kid. But as an adult, I see why that some of my friends just try to they just regular kids. It didn't matter if they was Haitian, Jamaican, this, that, and the third, like their culture is their culture. So I'm glad to see a lot of my friends embrace their culture as we got older and was comfortable, like, yo, I'm Haitian. And be like, okay, nigga, go catch the ball. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we out here playing football, baby. Like, we don't care about none of that. Like, yo, what you got in your crib to eat? I'm hungry. Like, and you coming over my crib. Like, so it was real friendship, and the world puts stipulations on who's what and what's who and all this other goofy stuff when again subcultures is the biggest, you know, bring people together more than anything. So I'm glad to see that every era that people are here, that you know it just get better and better for each group that comes, you know what I'm saying? So I wonder if my direct folks was called Gullah Geechee or if I am Geechee, but I know my people is from the South, whether it's from West Virginia or Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina. So I continue to do a deep dive into my family lineage. But that'd be dope, bro.
The first time I heard about Gullah Geechees was that show on Nickelodeon called Gullah Gullah Island. When I was a kid, I'm like, what the hell is Gullah Gullah Island? And it was nothing. And the show was ill because it was talking about it was this family, and like the parents were like, one of them was like a historian or something, and I think the other one was like a nurse or something. Like, and every episode they would just always talk about the culture, where it comes from, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, where the hell is Gullah Gullah Island? And then when I found out it was like off the coast of South Carolina, because the way they made it seem in the show, it was like it was mad far, like it was in the Caribbean or something, but it was right there in South Carolina. I'm like, oh shit, this is ill. So that was the first time I was introduced to Gullah Geechee. Chat, you know how I always do. I always have a theme for my show. What episode we on? 155. So it's 155 episodes of themes upon themes. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? So there have been times where I had freestyles, but today is no exception. So my theme for my movies is called the third act, meaning that the movie starts one way and you think it's one way, and then by the time you get to the third act, which is almost close to the end of the movie, it's a completely different movie than what you walked in thinking it was. So for the first choice in my on my third act movies is Midnight Meat Train. Pause. So it came out 2008, stars Bradley Cooper, Vinnie Jones, Leslie Bibb, Brooke Shields, Roger Bart, Peter Jacobson, Tony Corinne, Stephanie Mace, Ted Raimi, and Barbara Eva Harris. It's about this photographer that works for this newspaper art for this newspaper company, trying to get his name up. He sees a murder and he goes to investigate, and you gotta watch the rest of the movie. You think it's a simple slasher movie, but by the third act, it's something totally different. So check it out when you get a chance. Next movie on the list is The Cabin in the Woods. Came out 2011. Stars Fran Kranz, Chris Hemsworth, Christian Colony, Annie Hutchinson, Bradley Whitford, Jesse Williams, Richard Jenkins, Sigourney Weaver, Amy Acker, and Brian J. White. It's about a bunch of college kids. It's a typical college kids going into having a weekend slumber party in the mountains and deep in the woods, and you got to watch the rest of the movie to find out what happens in the third act. Again, this movie starts as a simple slasher movie, and then it turns into something completely different. So you got to tap in and watch it. All right, so last one on the list is called The World's End. Came out in 2013, and it stars Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Patty Cordidan, Martin Freeman, Rosamund Pike, Eddie Marson, Bill Nighy, Zachary Bayless, David Bradley, Mark Heap, Pierce Brosnan, and Reese Shearsmith. It starts off as a movie with a bunch of, it starts in Hollywood, and you have all these celebrities going to this party, this, that, and the third, because one of the celebrities in there is about to retire, and you got to watch the rest of the movie to see what happens. It starts off as a comedy, and it ends up something completely different. So you got to tap in and figure out what it was. So my movies are with the third act, meaning that the end of the movie doesn't start as the same way as doesn't end as the same way as it started, is Midnight Meat Train, The Cabin in the Woods, and The World's End.
Yeah, make sure y'all tap into those movies, man. If you just said the second act, I'd immediately thought you was gonna say Dust Till Dawn, because Dust Till Dawn started off like a high class, heist movie. Then it turned into like a cheesy B roll, just killing vampires in the club. But you specified that third act, so make sure y'all go tap into those movies, man. All right, y'all. My must three see movies. First movie came out 1996, directed by Doug Elin. It stars Brian Hooks, Jeremy Hawkins, Coolio, and Claudia Colleen. This movie is called Fat Beach. It's a comedy about a young kid just looking to have a great summer, but his friend always got something going. Convinced him to take his pops fly ass whip down to the coast and watch the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all. Make sure y'all tap in to see that beach. Second must see movie came out a long time ago, 1978, directed by Jeanette Sork. Uh, this movie stars Roy Scadender, Donna Wilkes, Mark Gunner, Cindy Garver, and Lorraine Gray. This movie is called Jaws 2. Classic Jaws movie. You know, the sheriff is back out, keeping the beach safe again, and then they want to, the mayor of the city, like, no, we got to do something to boost the city up and have these events, and he like, nah, it's still murky waters out there, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. It's a fire movie. Again, I won't ruin it for y'all, so make sure y'all tap in to see Jaws 2. Third and final must see movie. This movie right here, it's crazy. I didn't know what I was watching, but I was watching it. Came out in 2011, directed by Pedro Almodovar. This movie stars Antonio Banderas, Alina Aina, Jane Cornette, Bianca Suarez, and Maritza Pedros. This movie's called The Skin I Live In. This movie, even though it came out in 2011, this movie is probably top 3 movies I've seen all year. Fire movie. It's subtitled though. That was the only. I honestly feel, y'all, if this movie was in English, everybody and their mother would have seen this movie. So this movie's about a very successful surgeon, has a daughter. She gets raped. And he ends up finding the rest of the movie to watch. So make sure y'all go tap into The Skin I Live In. I guarantee you, even though it's subtitled, for some that don't like watching subtitle movies, it's worth the watch. I don't watch no subtitle movies except This one was crazy. I feel like telling y'all the whole movie, but I'm not. But it's crazy. So make sure y'all tap into see The Skin I Live In. So my three must-see movies again is Fat Beach, Jaws 2, and The Skin I Live In. Make sure y'all tap into those. Any of those stick out to you, bro?
The Jaws, of course.
Fire. Bro, The Skin I Live In. Y'all got on me for before about the whole 8 millimeter movie that I mentioned to y'all. This right here on a whole nother level. I guarantee any because y'all got at me. Y'all wasn't expecting 8 millimeter to be what it was. This movie is not gonna be what y'all think it is. Movie is crazy. All right, y'all. Moving on. Must have on your playlist. This is must have for music. Must have music. These three songs put on your playlist. I'm telling you, my vibrations is different when it comes to music. Whether it's classic rap, classic hip hop, whether it's brand new or whether it's classic. So make sure y'all tap into these music to this music. My artist that I want to mention, their three songs tonight. The R&B group called Changing Faces. Fire R&B group, R&B duo. Must put these three songs on your playlist. Number one, Fooling Around. Number two, Get the Hell Out. Number three, Stroke You Up featuring R. Kelly. Fire, fire. I'm telling you, R. Kelly produced this group. So by me saying that, y'all know what type of R&B that's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? Again, the songs is called Fooling Around, Get the Hell Out, and Stroke You Up and Down featuring R. Kelly. So make sure y'all tap into those three songs by Changing Faces. Put that on your playlist. All right, y'all. Must read books. Must read books. All right, so my must read book, y'all. Make sure y'all get all you need about the music business, the ninth edition. This one is by Donald S. Passman. Gives y'all a lot of great information for those who want to be in the music business. There's so many people that think they could do music and don't do the most important part about music, and that's the music business. In order to make money, you have to learn the music business. This is a great introductory tool that you're going to need to learn the music business. Again, this is the ninth edition, so he has several editions, but the ninth edition is so pivotal to if you want to do music and learning the business. I remember when I first started in the music business, I told my father I want to become a music artist. The first thing he did was put a big Bible of a music business book in front of my face. He's like, now you're in the music business. And I had to read the whole book to learn everything that it needs to learn about that book, whether it's contracts, whether it's social media, or all these things in the book. And even though it was social media, the introductory part of social media, it still had a lot of foundational information that I learned from, the first book that my father gave me. So make sure y'all get that book. Oh, you have a book, bro?
I got one book for y'all. It's called the Common Law Court Handbook. So it's very important that y'all understand that you are not in common law court. You in civil and arbitration court where you don't have no rights or laws at all. So your best bet is to understand common law court, and you need to get the book Common Law Court Handbook by John Daresh. If you are afraid about what is going on with the birthright citizenship, this is why you need common law, and you need to place yourself out of their jurisdiction and put yourself in common law. How do you do that? By reading the Common Law Handbook by John Daresh.
Y'all get that book, man. Stop playing. Get your book game up. They say it for us and our people. The best way to hide information is to put it in the book. Not with people that we know. We read books. We brothers pick up a book and read. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all pick up a book and get yourself right. You got cologne for us?
Cologne for y'all. Y'all look good. Y'all feel good. Y'all smell good. Y'all gonna do good. So this time, let's play some mind games by getting the fragrance called Mind Games, and the fragrance is called Mentor. So if you're about playing mind games and you want to smell good while doing it, tap into Mind Games, and the fragrance is called Mentor.
Y'all get that cologne. Again, the whole purpose is to smell good, feel good, and get good. Get that woman, get her tucked under the arm, you know what I'm saying? So you can have you some good consensual fun. Okay, brothers? All right, y'all. Moving on. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to wrap. This segment is brought to you again by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, Button Snaps. Button hyphenated sign snaps.com. Again, that's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. First hot topic of the night, y'all. The first driverless semis have started running on the regular long haul roads in Texas from Houston to Dallas. They can scan as far and wide as 4 football fields. What do you think about that?
This is where we at with it. Like they want to put driverless cars out here. It's like it's insane when people hack systems all the time. What's the safeguard with somebody hacking a semi truck and causing a 18 car pileup? You know what I'm saying? So it's just scary where we're going with it, and it just doesn't even make no sense. So it's like just like Styles P said, why would we put somebody in position of power and they will put a computer in power for us? Like that don't even add up. So it's like we might as well keep ourselves in power. Why are we gonna put somebody else in a machine, an entity in power when we already was in power? So it's weird.
I always thought computers was made to help us assist, not take over. And now you have these companies who are so far gone into this tech world that they really believe that they could take over humans. What happened to the personal touch and the personal care? What happened to that? What happened to being able to depend on a person? What happened to that? And it's all because you don't want to pay a particular wage. That doesn't make sense. If anything, there's other ways that they could do it where people can still work and for them to make their money and for the person to make theirs. It can't be so far gone where you say, you know what, we're not going to pay you your regular wage or the wage that the system is garnering for you than it is for just us that not have no drivers, but we're going to put more money into this vehicle to maintenance the vehicle, to always be in, you got to have somebody to look over the vehicle on the road. It's just out there just running. Like, it has to report to somebody and something. And even with the system by itself, somebody has to check the system. Like, they show it all the they show all the time, but there was an episode of Martin where Martin went back and he was telling Sean, like, yo, where's everybody at? He was like, I am everybody. I just come in here every few hours and change the tapes. And you're like, what? So that's all they doing now is changing the tapes. So this is very scary where it's going, because if they could do this with a job like semi trucking, everything else is food. What do you think about that?
It doesn't it's not like you trying to alleviate the pressures of a driver from driving long distances. Like, all right, cool, let me throw on the driver assist, take a little quick nap real quick. You know what I'm saying? I've been driving a little bit of hours, I still got a couple of miles to go, so let me turn on the driver assist and it'll drive for me for the 2 hours I need to take a nap. No, you're not doing that. You're just saying get rid of the whole truck driver and just put everything automated. But then now it's like you gotta hire somebody else to sit there and watch the road. You know what I'm saying? For that, you're not eliminating the problem. You just shifting the problem. So it's like, why don't you just pay the truck drivers to drive, give them the trucks that can drive themselves, and they be the ones watching the road because they sitting in the truck while the truck is driving.
They right there.
You know what I'm saying? So you
Easy,
kill two birds with one stone. Like, you paying
easy.
the man and he's making sure that the truck is driving properly on the road. And if there is a situation, he could easily take over. And I'm always gonna go with human ingenuity before damn machine any day.
That's a fact, man. Quick shout out to Rowan Jack, one of our day ones, a bad shoulder, man. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Always, 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 man. Yeah, I agree with you hands down, man. This is crazy, nasty work. All right, moving on to our next hot topic. Rolly Romeo stuns Ryan Garcia in the amazing event that Times Square threw. He wins anonymous decision 12th round welterweight fight. What do you think about that? Rolly Romeo beats Ryan Garcia.
Watch boxing.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, they threw an amazing event. This is the first time I've ever seen Times Square throw a boxing event. They did this outside. They did it was so fun. Friday, you know Friday night what Times Square looked like on Friday night. It's popping. And then they did this outside. They had the ring of obviously they had like all the makings of what an arena would look like, and they set it up in the main part of of 42nd Street, which was fire. I'm like, yo, what new venue is this? And it was like, yo, this is 40 Deuce, and I'm like, hold on, 40 Deuce. I'm seeing McDonald's in the background. I'm seeing the Wax Museum. I'm like, oh, y'all really doing this. So they was popping. I've never seen a venue look like that. And of course, they brought out the big dogs. They brought out Mike Tyson and all the current, fighters. Shout out to Bernard Hopkins, another legend. He was out there. It just looked fire. It looked like a place to be. So I think this is the first of many. When now New York City, outside of fighting at the Garden, which they play in the playoffs right now, outside of fighting at the Barclays, which they do all the time, now they add an outside venue. I think this changed the game. That it was just fire. But Rolly, he looked head and shoulders stronger than Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is still a good fighter. He's still got a nasty punch, but Rolly was just too strong for this dude. He was just too strong, and he was waiting, and he ate a lot of Ryan Garcia's punches, and his overhand right is devastating, and he knocked him out, I believe, twice. And Rolly is no joke. So y'all look out for this dude, Rolly Romeo. He is a problem, a whole problem. So shout out to him. He won that fight hands down. And it was a bad scene after the fight where they catch like people think this is a misnomer because I've seen a lot of people dogging Ryan Garcia out. They caught a video shot of him uh, like Friday. He was crying in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like again, it's an outside venue, so he's in the van and he's having this moment like, yo, I just lost, and he's crying. And I'm seeing all these comments on social media like, oh, he a punk, this, that, and the third. I'm like, a punk? Dude, you don't even know what it takes to get in the ring. You don't know what it takes for to break yourself apart and to build yourself back up and to have that confidence to get in the ring to knock somebody out. He lost. He lost. That's what fighters do. You win or you lose. But he went in there, fought like a man. And for him to have that moment that he needed to be vulnerable, I think that was kind of suckerish on the network for catching him in that moment more than people just saying, "Oh, he a sucker for crying." Like, come on, man. Like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's a warrior's that like you can't play fighting. You have to get busy to fight. Somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose. So for all of those people that was talking crazy in the comments, I wish y'all would. Yeah, most of y'all don't even fight for real no more. Most people, when they get really addressed with a fight, they go immediately to their gun. So that's those people that was talking crazy in the chat. That was wild. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Full service catering company goes viral for charging 6K for their menu, which includes only sweet chili wings, veggie rice, barbecue meatballs, pause, and fried cabbage with baked mac and cheese. What do you think about that?
It's if she's on some marketing tactic, this would be the best marketing genius I ever seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like people would have to hit you up just to see if your catering service is for real or not. Because ain't no in hell somebody's paying 6K for that ugly ass vegetable rice that you got. That's just disgusting. And then on top of that, I don't believe it's 6K because you had a plastic bag on your head. You know what I'm saying? So I can't never take you seriously. You feel me? So that's why I feel it was like a good marketing play and a good joke at a at a baby shower event, because those were the baby shower meatballs. You know what I'm saying, you go to baby shower, it's always them same meatballs that they always serve. So that's definitely not worth no 6K because you're getting that from Costco. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nothing on there is worth 6K, especially that plastic bag on your head. You know what I'm saying? With the have a nice day smile. So nah. So that's why I feel it was a good ass joke. You know what I'm saying? Funny as shit. I found it hilarious.
Vanilli with the, with the crazy outrageous prices, and then they had Hustle Man coming off his cart when he's serving chitlin loaf talking about 15 G's. Like, um, this raised another question because this is crazy. Because if she was dead serious, and I honestly believe she was dead serious, if she was dead serious, do we still support melanated businesses only because they're melanated?
Yeah, I've seen very good video quality on some regular stuff. So it's like the production behind it doesn't showcase that it's worth $6,000. You got four trays on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I don't even want chili wings. Now what we gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
barbecue meatballs. Pause.
I don't want that. So what else is on the menu?
Right.
And I don't want vegetables on my rice neither. So what else you got? For 6K, I better get whatever the hell I want. You know what I'm saying? If I want shrimps falling from the sky, you better deliver that. You know what I'm saying? And it better fall in the marinara sauce. You know what I'm saying?
Just everything bottomless.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Just straight, no chaser. Just give me all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nothing. You know what I'm saying? For 6K, come on now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spare rib tips, all that. Where they you got 6 dishes on here. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel it's a good ass joke. Cause ain't no way hell I'm taking you serious, mommy. You know what I'm saying? You got the Chinese have a nice day bag wrapped on your head talking about 6K and I'm not getting this. Nah, son. So it was a good joke. I laughed at it.
Had some lobster pizza in the back also with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? 6K, you know what I'm saying? Throw some seafood on that joint. You know what I mean?
Some lobster bisque or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that was wild. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Morgan State University has opted into paying their student athletes for the NIL image likeness, for the name, image, and likeness. This move will benefit both the school and the players. What do you think about that?
More money. So if you licensing out their image and likeness and they're playing at your school, you know what I'm saying? It's a no-brainer to get the extra funding that you need to I guess create another wing or create another department for the influx of students that you're bringing in, because at the end of the day, football is big business. So why not tap into it and use it to your advantage to now make the curriculum of the school better, make the all the stuff you have at the school at a top tier. You know what I'm saying? You have all the programs, you have all the stuff the students need to excel. So I think it's a good idea, and it's a good business strategy to have, because you're gonna make all that money, and hopefully the directors at the school use it for school purposes and not for themselves. You know what I'm
longer from New York City is going to feel like they have to go, all the way to the South. They may want to just go as close to home as possible. I mean, if you could go to Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn State, cool. But there's a whole lot of other players that are really good players that instead of going to Maryland or going to Syracuse, you go right to Delaware. It's a faster drive. It's much easier to get to. It's straight away and it's right there. It's Delaware. You know what I mean? You're still going to get the same type of weather, and you'll be back in New York City in no time, especially if you're in New Jersey. So they're going to really tap into that New York, New Jersey, Delaware, recruiting in Delaware. But for Morgan State, now you're going to have you're going to be able to have recruiting battles now that you're Morgan State, because now Morgan State is trying to put themselves in a D1 conversation by doing this. You're going to pay players through the image and likeness and through the school. It's a no-brainer. It's right there in that area, that DMV area that guys are going to want to go to. There's no, outside of Maryland, there's no other school. Hampton is a fire school, but they still play D1 AA. They play like the top tier of D1 AA, but it's still D1 AA. So Morgan State is working their way up to D1A, and this is the best start that they could do. They got fire colors, they got a fire field. Morgan State is known for their homecomings and things of that nature. So I think this is a great move for the school. They're gonna make their money on always around. So shout out to Morgan State. This is very smart. And people better start realizing the money is in football. And what you come, shout out to LIU. LIU is another school that people don't talk about. LIU Brooklyn. LIU Brooklyn has a football team, a certified football team they play D2 though, but they play some good teams and they working their way up. So I love the fact that New York City realizing we need a New York City football team. So I just think that's dope. Shout out to Morgan State for being smart. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. This is my question. This is my question, and it's based off of what I've seen on social media. So this is my question. Should men only date within their tax bracket? What do you think about that?
What does that even mean?
So what that means is, because what I've seen on social media, women are saying that men should only date in their tax bracket, meaning that men should only date women that they could basically support financially. Meaning, like, yeah, she's your girl, but you have the means as far as the money to be able to support your lifestyle and hers.
Would I want to support your lifestyle if you're working as an independent woman as well too? Where's your money going? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the wordplay that women use, not all women, but these particular type of women, is always this, oh, I can work if I want to, and this, that, and the third. No, you have to work. I don't know what society you living in where you think you have the option to not work. This is not the 40s. We both men and women have to work. So you saying that a guy dating his tax bracket, okay, fine. If he's dating his tax bracket, that means he's still going to be above you regardless. Because men get paid more than women, period. So either tax bracket in, he's still getting paid more than you. So with men, we don't deal with none of that stuff, like worried about tax bracket and all, because we always dating at a disadvantage, or we always compromising all the time when we're dating, and we have no problem with it. Women feel as though they can't compromise, they're not in no position to compromise or anything like that. But you have no power to compromise. You're not in no position of power to flex your authority on nobody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to say to date in somebody's tax bracket, okay, they date in their tax bracket, and then when they level up, so they're gonna date in the next tax bracket. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing stopping a man from leveling up. So okay, fine, you gonna date in this tax bracket, and next year he done came up. Now he's dating on this other tax bracket. So that means if he was dating you in this lower tax bracket, he shouldn't have to date you no more, because now he's in the upper tax bracket. So all right, we're gonna date in our tax bracket, fine. So when we level up, then we can't date you because you not in the same tax bracket no more. All right, cool. So it's going to showcase that women going to put themselves in another situation because you don't have the power to implement nothing. So at the end of the day, it's still a man's world. So all right, we date in our tax bracket, and then when we level up, we date in that tax bracket, and then you're not going to be in either or of those tax brackets. So if he doesn't take you with him, because when's the last time you seen a woman level up on her own? Very rare. Majority of the times that women that have been bossed up have taken it from another man, and then want to tell you, "Oh, get it from the mud," but you didn't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's weird how they will say these things, but they didn't put in no work to get into that tax bracket that they in. Not all women, not all.
Right.
Some women, or the ones that say this,
The
these
ones,
rhetorics online.
right.
Definitely not all women, because I know women who are on their shit, have degrees, this, that, and the third, and they don't talk about dating in their tax bracket. You know what I'm saying? So it's just these specific women who say that. So it's just I don't listen to those women at all anyway.
These particular women who are loud and wrong, might I add. Again, this was my question based on what they was saying. So my thing is, I'm gonna try to be very nice when I say this, ladies. But when you meet a man that's quote unquote in the same tax bracket as you or more, we not gonna want you because you have that mindset. We don't want somebody who's focused solely on money. Money is a tool. And but see, the biggest issue that I have with the women that think like this, the women that think like this think money is everything. Money's a tool. And because they hold money to a high caliber, they will never have a guy on their arm that quote unquote is in the same tax bracket as them is or more. Because a man who makes that type of money, we don't want to support you the way you want to be supported. We're going to support you how we see fit. If you're a part of the program, then we're going to take care of some things. Yes, because you in the house, you in the household. We take care of the household. When a man is situated, he takes care of everybody. And you don't even have to ask us to do it. We just do it. But to say that to make it like a point of contention, what make you think we're gonna choose you based on your mindset like that? Like, what value outside of you being able to tell your friends, yeah, you know, my man makes this amount of money? What value that do that have for us? That makes us a bigger target, and that puts you in on a real bad spotlight because now you tell your friends that your friends gonna want to see what's up with your man. So for the women that think like this, you only shortening your opportunities to find somebody. That's why with men, when we have our money, it's easy for us to choose somebody that work at McDonald's. We don't have no qualms about it. If she's fine and if she's on our program, because every man is different. Whatever his program is, if she's on that program, he has no problem doing anything. But to say to come to the door and be like, yeah, this is what I want and this is what I expect. Okay, well, thank you for coming. God bless and have a good night. Gonna hit you with the old Russell Simmons because you don't control what you want, especially from a man who has his stuff together, especially on a financial end. You don't call no shots, even if you come to the table with 100,000. If a man makes 100,000, you make 100,000, you won't be able to call no shots based on what you want. It's not happening. Now, if he makes 150 and you make 100, you still not able to call no shots. If you made 200,000 and that man makes 80,000, you're still not going to be able to call no shots. I don't know why some of these women think that the more money that they make, the more shots that they get to call within their relationship. You don't, because you don't have control of that. So for the women that think like this, you only you're strengthening your dating pool and you're making it worse. Instead of finding somebody that you could actually get along. You know how hard it is to find somebody that you could get along with? I spoke to a couple the other day that's been together for 40 years. And the husband, right in front of his wife, said, we never argued. She looked at me and was like, yup, we never argued before. I said, oh my God, y'all are crazy. But also, I wish I could find somebody that I like for 5 minutes, let alone 40 years. And her mindset and his mindset, and especially her mindset, is so much to the point where her values in her family and into her man. He took pride in saying that they've been together for 40 years without an argument. He took pride in saying that. He looked like Donatello in Ninja Turtle 2 when they was introducing the turtles. Like, yeah, that's Donatello. Donatello turned around to the back and looked at him like, you know what I'm saying? You see it. You know what I'm saying? He took that type of pride on bragging the fact that he's been with his wife for 40 years and they never had an argument. So it's just crazy to me that some of these women out here that think like this, you only strengthening your dating pool and you're making it worse for yourself. Shout out to VIP in the building. Shout out to VIP in the building. You're very weird. I'm gonna bypass the block party songs. We're just gonna hook you up with some tickets. Shout out to you, VIP. All right. Oh, you want to add anything to that?
We good.
All right. Moving on to our next hot topic. Uh, P Diddy. A couple days back, P Diddy turns down plea offer. Uh, and this plea offer would have spared him for the possibility of serving a life sentence if guilty. What do you think about that?
Oh man, take that shit to trial. Nigga, the evidence has to be overwhelming to say like he did all. I don't even know what he's being charged with for real. For real, what is the actual real charge? Like I need to look at that and then see what from based on the charge that they going after him for, by and by or no reasonable doubt that they have evidence to convict him. So he's saying they don't. That's why you're going to trial. So all we got to do is wait for the court date.
See, at the very beginning, you know how I've been about the Diddy situation. I think they got him dead to rights. But because he turned down the plea deal, it's giving me like cause to pause. Like maybe brother's not guilty because I would think he has more insight on what they charging him for outside of the public. You see what I'm saying? And for him to turn that down, he must know something, obviously, that we don't know as far as the charges and what they actually trying to charge him. For him to turn down this deal, and if guilty, he could possibly look at a life sentence. So at the very beginning, because these people that's going after him, they already made their case and then they just go after him. And that's how they normally operate. Their success rate is in the 90s, like it's crazy. The fact that he turned it down, I'm like, I don't know. I
But then turn around and say, "Oh no, it was for something else." But how are you going to prove that? That's the whole point. How are you going to prove that you was transporting people to engage in prostitution? And then you also have to prove sex trafficking. Racketeering conspiracy is like it's a conspiracy. So it's like you don't gotta really prove that shit because they could just say it's a conspiracy. So sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution, how are you gonna prove that? How? So this is why it's so important to take it to trial because you have to showcase the evidence. What evidence you using to showcase engaging in prostitution with everybody's quote unquote adults?
out to Malu in the chat. Appreciate you tapping in, one of our badge holders.
Saying these people were taken against their will. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why I'm like, all right, take that shit to trial because you know the feds play dirty. Just because they have a 93 conviction rate, don't mean that they do it cleanly. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That's
The
a
fuck, like they're not doing this shit clean. They're not doing this shit proper just because they say it's a federal government. Like they're upstanding citizens and they're doing the right thing. Fuck out of here.
nobody said that. It's just a fact that there's a success rate. God is God.
But I'm just saying that the way they get you is
Is
it the proper way of getting you? That's the whole point.
right.
So if you how you gonna prove sex? How you gonna prove that he transported people for engaging in prostitution? If they willingly got in the limo, if they willingly got on the G5 plane, how are you gonna prove that? So what funny business tactic gonna use to trick niggas out their position? That's why the feds don't allow cameras in there, because the feds play by a different dirty game. The state allow cameras and people in there with their cell phones, this, that, and the third. You can't walk in the federal building with your phone. They taking that shit. I wonder why.
Just with state, you just can't wild out. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
you
you can't belligerent with it, but you can have your phone out, this, that, and the third. You can't be on some TikTok shit. You
right,
can't have your phone out in state.
right.
But when it comes to the federal, all of a sudden it's different rules. Why is it different when y'all all in the same playing field, y'all all in the same soil, but all of a sudden it's different rules because you're federal? No. This is where the fuckery and the technology come into play. You know what I'm saying? The slide you and trick you out your position because you think it's some federal shit, like they doing some above board. But we know that the FBI started on some hateful shit. Started off on some tricking people out their position. Because remember, during the Prohibition era, nobody had driver's license and everybody was driving around doing what they was doing. When they crossed state lines, it was a totally different situation. Because once you leave South Carolina, the South Carolina police can't go into Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So they have to call the Georgia police to get you. So the feds was like, let's find a way where we can bypass that shit. So they figured out a way with the Mann Act and the Hobbs Act to use the highways as interstate commerce, right? So that's how they was able to get you on trafficking, because you're traveling from state lines, but you have to prove it. What evidence you have to prove it? Is a witness testimony evidence? How is that only the evidence you have? So I would love to see what's going on in the trial. So yeah, take that shit to trial, son.
Like I said, I thought it was dead to right, but being that he turned it down, I'm like, yo, man, maybe old Diddy got him creating a shot for himself. So shout out to him. Shout out to Health in the building. I think that's Tanya. Shout out to you in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Mars, the net is lacking. Here's the net lacking. You to Health. I think they're saying that we could be freezing a little bit. I don't see no freezing on the side. All right, y'all. But again, like I said, being that he turned it down, or Diddy might create himself a shot. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. NBA playoffs is shaping up. Western Conference. Last four teams. You got OKC versus Denver. You have Minnesota versus GSW Golden State. You have New York versus Boston, and you have Indiana playing Cleveland. Indiana won their first game tonight against Cleveland, so they up 1-0. What do you think of the playoffs?
The best basketball that I've seen in a long time, son. So these are some of the top tier athletes going against each other. So I would love to see how. Well, we've seen how top tier talent and strategy and using your best players to win the game is really showcasing on the court now with these players. And I have to hand it to Indiana. I wasn't think they were going to take the first game. You know what I'm saying? So now Cavs got to come back, adjust a little bit, and come up with a better strategy for the next game. So this is why I love the playoffs. It's just all that the mental mind games and how hard it is you're going to push forward. You know, you're playing 7 games and you're playing these same people all the time. Throughout that stretch. So you know what I'm saying? Like what mental edge and what physical edge you're gonna use to get over the hump to beat your opponent. So that's why I love the playoffs and stuff. So it also puts sheds light on the coaching staff, you know what I'm saying? See how good coaching is, what strategy they're using, like, you know what I'm saying? So playoffs is very good. So but this playoffs in particular is fucking phenomenal ball playing.
Shout out to Biggs in the building, one of our day ones. Appreciate you tapping in, bro. So what do you think of the matchup between OKC and Denver? Who do you think wins that matchup?
I think it's gonna go to a game 7. I can't really say who's gonna win or not. It's really boiling down who wants it more. You know what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook is playing like he really wants it. You know what I'm saying? So
Child, you know what I'm saying?
but I'm just saying, like, OKC is really good too. So it's really boiling down to how you're gonna use your players, where you're gonna move your pieces at, how you're gonna play them, what matchup you're gonna put people on. You know what I'm saying? So OKC is a really good team. So it's like that's why I say the matchup is going to be nice. So I feel as though it's going to go to game 7. I can't really see who's going to push over the top. I can't really call it, but I'm just gonna watch the series to just watch some phenomenal basketball. I would love to watch Russ go to the next round and stuff like that. But then again, I'd love to see OKC take it, a young hot shot team doing what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I just love basketball, period. So I'm just watching it just for the love of it. And my Knicks is in it, so that's why I live in delusional land. So we Knicks is taking everything. So that's how we do it in our delusional world. You know what I'm saying? We gonna take everything, you know what I'm saying? But I love basketball, so I'm all for the basketball. But Knicks is in, so it's Knicks and 5. You know what I'm saying? Knicks taking everything. If y'all want to live in delusion with me, you guys say Knicks and 5, baby. Come live in the Lulu world with me, baby. That's the only time I live in delusion, when I'm about my Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I live in reality. But when it's about the Knicks, let me live my delusion. Knicks and 5, you heard? Chill. Knicks and 5. Knicks and 5. I quoted it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt and everything. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so me personally, I think Denver's gonna win. Jokic, his stat line just looks crazy. Jokic's stat line be somewhere around like 34 points, 26 rebounds, 4 blocks, and like 12 assists. And I just think that it will go to a game 7 because both teams are so talented. I want to see OKC win mainly because at one time OKC was like the doormat of the NBA because they got all these picks. They had every single pick. Like if you played 2K and you started your franchise, you wanted to play with OKC because every year you had like 3 first round picks and you had a superstar. So now they've been able to cash in on these picks, build their team up. Now they're a really good team. I would like to see them make that push as well, but Denver is a championship team, so I'm gonna go with Denver. As far as the Minnesota and Golden State has been balling, but Ant Man is an animal, bro. I'm going with Minnesota to win that series. Eastern Conference, New York versus Boston. Regardless if you a Knicks fan or not, is New York over Boston every day. But Boston is Boston. They the champs.
They, like I
So
said, we live in delusion, but the reality is Boston is a phenomenal team. I think it's gonna be hard fought. They probably go to a game 6, maybe game 7.
Warriors won. Yeah, James, the Warriors won. They beat the Rockets tonight. That's why I mentioned them. That's why I mentioned they beat them tonight. So they're gonna be playing they're gonna play uh Minnesota. They're gonna have their hands full. They're gonna
And waiting for y'all, so it's gonna be looking
it's cool.
bad.
Good luck with Ant Man and old Mr. COVID. What's the Rudy Gobert? You know what I'm saying? That's Mr. COVID because when he was like, oh, there was the reporters like, yo, there's this thing called COVID. You might not want to touch too much stuff. He was like, what? Touch all of this? And come to find out he was the spreader of COVID. Like, like yo, that's why they traded him.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Like, yo, he on the trading block, yo. He was just touching that.
On niggas, this shit. Put cases on your forehead.
It was like, yo, you
Try to
got
get niggas up out of here. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta chill. Check out, mind you, Rudy Gobert is a Frenchman. He don't care about none of that. He like, yo, I'm tough skinned. I mean, like, I'm impervious to all this. Come to find out, he had COVID. Everybody in that room had COVID, so that's how ended up getting traded for real. But I think they're gonna have their hands full with him. And then you got Cleveland versus Indiana. I honestly think Indiana's gonna win this series. They won tonight. Cleveland is a very good team, but Indiana, they present matchup problems and they just struggle during the season. They do just enough to get in the playoffs and they turn into a different team. So I think Indiana's going to win that game. All right, moving on to our next hot topic. Uh, did you know that there was a $7 million floating hotel off the coast of Portsmouth, UK since the COVID? Did you know about that? Portsmouth, UK. The hotel is fire. It's immaculate, by the way. It's fire. It is like you got to take a flight, and then you got to get off the like it got to be one of them. You got to take two flights. So you got to take a flight, then you got to take a special uh plane that has like the boat wings on the bottom,
Hell
and
nah.
then
You trying to Aaliyah me. I'm not doing that. Hell nah, son. Nah. I'm good. The little Cessna joint that land on the water? Nah.
you got to get the Jaws joint. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
Jaws joint.
Yo, Jaws took that plane down. I'm good. So yo, fuck around a whole octopus, take that whole plane off out the whole picture. Now I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? A rogue wave just come out of nowhere. Now we under the sea. You know what I'm saying?
Take like a little with the little, I forget the little not boat, but a little boat engine type of joint to ride.
I take a speedboat.
Yeah, yeah,
You fucked
yeah,
up, son. I thought
yeah.
you were gonna land by the hotel. Now I gotta take a boat after I done took the boat plane. Oh, y'all tripping, UK? Y'all bug.
It's floating, so you can't land on the joint. You know what I'm saying? So you better off with the rocky waves. You know what I'm saying? With the little plane. So, but once you get inside though, it's fly. You know what I'm saying? It's immaculate, but it's abandoned. Ain't nobody haven't been
No concierge service immediately.
nothing, nothing, nothing. But it's fly though. You know what I'm saying? You in there Dolly, they got the jacuzzi inside the hotel. You know what I'm saying?
And the boat captain, we chilling in there. Y'all niggas ain't leaving me. We got this whole hotel for ourselves for real. You know what I'm saying? We chilling together, son.
Crazy thing is, bro, it's not operated by a captain. It's not operated by anyone because the way that they have the sides is all like it's like special water break. I forget what material, but it's you know what I'm saying. So it's made for the bumps and the bruises and all that in the water. You know what I'm saying? But it's been abandoned since COVID. You know what I'm saying? But it's a $7 million hotel that's floating in the ocean, and it's just out there. And if you happen to make it, you could go get you a couple free nights of Z's and all that because ain't nobody in there. You know what I'm saying? Just gotta have the proper 2 L's to get to the ocean, get to the hotel, and make yourself up in there. So, but it is crazy though. It is crazy. All right, moving on to our next hot topic. Jeff Teague finally plays 1-on-1 against Gilly the Kid. And it was bad. It was bad. I thought Gilly had a chance. Gilly is a basketball. Gilly can actually play ball. He can actually play ball. As an artist, he can actually play ball. He's one of the best artists, ballers I probably ever seen. I'll still rock Gilly World, pause, in basketball, pause again. But Gilly is nice. Gilly played in the Big Three, won MVP. Gilly is nice. So I give Gilly that. But him and, Jeff Teague got the 1-on-1, and it was bad, bro. So Jeff Teague beat him 9-2, and he was killing it so crazy. They was like, yo, I bet you can't shoot with the left. And Jeff Teague hit the walk-off three with the left, and it was over from there. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Gilly the Kid. Gilly's still a baller. Gilly's still nice. He's still one of the best basketball player artists around. Shout out to Famous Los. I think it's Carlos or Famous Los. I think it's Carlos. He's just like a slender, dark skinned cat, but he could ball too. I've seen him ball plenty of times. There's a couple of real official artists, ballers, that could play. Chris Brown is an official baller. But yo, shout out to Gilly. He could ball, man. Shout out to Gilly Paws. But he took that L burger from Jeff Teague. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Teague ain't gonna be no more smut on Jeff Teague name out here. You know what I'm saying? He could really ball. So shout out, pause. Oh, what you think about that 1-on-1 though?
at Ivy League schools, all that, you was dropping 30, but then you get to the league and you ass. So, but if you're in the league, you have that respect of being in the league. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not in the league, don't disrespect people in the league by calling them out and trying to play them because you are artist baller. Now, stay in that lane. You know what I'm saying? Stay over there. Let the professionals be the professionals. Let them play against each other. Let them get their one-on-ones. Ain't no in hell I'm trying to play against a professional. Nah, that's a straight embarrassment. You know what
I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, but Gilly Cabal, I give him his credit. He, like I said, he was the big three MVP. He played in the big three with other NBA players, former NBA players, and he did his thing. Great.
But you then play professional. Don't call out a professional, even if retired or not. Like, don't disrespect people's level. Like, because you played there, you should have went professional too. You did not. Stay in your lane.
I think, but it's the tier level though. Like, again, you could be professional, you could be really good, but there's a tier. You know what I'm saying? And I think Jeff T showed them like, yo, there's a tier to this, bro. And
Obviously, it's a tier. You're not there.
yeah, yeah,
Nigga, you're not. So
yeah.
what are you trying? Why are we just like him being because it's Jeff T? Like, bro played in a professional for years. What are we talking about?
Jeff Teague wasn't. I've never said Jeff Teague was trash, but he wasn't the go-to player, right? But he
was in the league for years. So we're
yeah,
not gonna put no smut on the nigga name. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
He was
So if he's playing another professional, all right, cool. But you're not playing another non-professional for what? To showcase that it's a difference in the league? He should have already been respected that. You know what I'm saying?
good player though. Good play. So shout out to Gilly, Jeff Teague. You know, shout out to Jeff Teague. He put that. You know, he made it look easy too. It didn't look hard. Pause.
No, it's gonna be easy. Work, easy work. You know what I'm saying?
All right, what was the next segment?
$1 million worth of game, yeah, cool. We want to go on you put the game on, but even though you don't really give no game, but all right. But don't come on a court with professionals. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Like, that's disrespectful, I feel. Because that's like saying you're a tax professional, right? But somebody that don't have no taxes gonna come and tell you how to do taxes. You gonna look at them crazy. How you gonna knock my profession? By saying goofiness, like, or try to play you by doing or saying outlandish things and wrong things in your profession in front of you. As a professional, you got to correct them, set them straight. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Like, that should showcase already that people don't have no level of respect for other people, like in a joking way or not. Like, nah, we're not doing that. I know I'm not doing that. If you're professional, I'm gonna respect your professional status. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me.
One of the best photographers in the world. If you're in the Miami area, if you're not, still book that session. They'll come out and take your session, but it starts at bigbravosection.com. You have a petty thought, petty word, petty law.
Full judgment is entered against a party who has failed to defend against a claim that has been brought by another party. Under rules of civil procedure, when a party against whom a judgment for affirmative relief has sought after and failed to plead otherwise defend, he is in default, and a judgment by default may be entered either by the clerk or the court. So if you ever have a judgment or you ever have somebody calling you court for any issues, make sure you show up at least. Because if you don't show up, then they're gonna just give the default judgment to the party that asked you to come to court for whatever reason it was. So make sure you show up to court and don't give them the easy way out by not showing up. All right. So next word on the list is military law, a system of regulations for the government of armed forces. That branch of the laws which respects military discipline and the governments of persons employed in the military service. Military law is distinct from martial law. It is it that it applies only to persons in the military or naval service of the government, whereas military law, when established and applies alike to citizens and soldiers and supersedes civil law. So if there's ever any situation and they put martial law on the United States, that means they take away your civil rights. So that means you never had rights in the first place because they were privileges. Because if they were rights, they wouldn't be able to take them away. So that's why you must remove yourself from that certain status where martial law, when it's implemented, they have rights over you, and you need to be on the law of the land, which is they will never have no jurisdiction on you because military law is not part of the law of the land. All right. So last word on the list for this week is infidel. So infidel is one who does not believe in the existence of a God who will reward or punish in this world or in that which is to come. One who professes no religion that can bind his conscience to speak the truth. One who does not recognize the inspiration or obligation of the Holy Scriptures or generally recognized features of the Christian religion. So this is what the papal bull used to justify the slave enslavement and the killing of go and enslave the rest of the world and the rest of the population just by this papal bull and by just changing your name and calling you an infidel, and now you don't have no rights all of a sudden. So those words this week are infidel, military law, default judgment, and boiler room transaction. And which we call Ron Jack, I did see your word assimilate, so I'm gonna have that for next week, for next episode. All right.
Fire, fire, fire. Again, send my bro some words. Be serious about it, and he'll look them up for you. All right, moving on to our next segment. I'll keep the lie live segment.
I lie.
The lie live. So my keep the lie alive for this episode is there's no book to parenting part 2. The reason why I had to do a deeper dive because based on the last episode, like there was some comments about parenting and about, you have to treat your kids this way and you have to treat your kids that way. And the reason why I lean on the principle is that there's no book to parenting. Kids is case by case. All you can do truly as a parent is your very best. Some people say, and there's always a lot of opinion from people that don't have children. It's always weird to me because let's say if you had a court situation and you had to like go through the courts to see your child, there's a whole lot of people that have a whole lot of opinion that the courts appoint that don't have any children. And that's always been interesting. I'm like, well, if you don't have any children, how can you advise someone that don't have children? This is not, having children is not a spectator sport. It was like, well, I don't have to have children to understand what a child goes through. Um, there's two people that's involved. There's the child and there's the parent, or three people. So you have to be able to have a child or have a child to understand what the parent is trying to do and what the child receives. That's why there's no book to parenting, because no matter what you do as the parent, as the intent, your intent is one thing. What the child receives is always different. If a parent has three children and the mom or the dad works, both parents work all the time. They work two jobs every single day. But they do it because they need to put food on the table, clothes on their back, keep the roof on, be able to keep up with all the family stuff. There's going to be a child that looks at both their parents and be like, wow, our parent works hard. Our parents work hard. They're doing the very best that they could do to provide for us. And I understand their sacrifice. And because I understand their sacrifice, I'm going to do my very best as a child to lighten their load. I'm going to get good grades in school. When they come home, the house is going to be clean. The other child may say, yo, they work all the time. Forget that money. I'd rather for us to be broke and together. Where's the time? I need time. I need connection with my parents. Then the other child may be like, it's cool that they work or whatever the case may be, but I don't care either way. It don't matter to me. So your intent and what your child takes from it is case by case. And there's nothing as a parent that you can always do to continue to micromanage because you still have to live life every day. You still have to do that. The very thing that you can do is just do your best for your child to understand how much you love them, how much you sacrifice for them, and how much you're doing for them, and hoping that the things that you teach them, that they take the better part of what you're trying to teach them. So that's why I lean on that principle that there's no book to parenting because money is not the deciding factor on you being a good parent. Because you could give your kids too much. You could give your kids too little. Same thing with again with schooling. You could say, "Well, I put you through the best schools in the world. Why are you such a rotten kid?" Or you could put them in the trashiest school in the world and be like, "Yo, why are you a rotten kid? I went to the trash school and look at me. I turned out to be a solid citizen." So no matter what you do as a parent, you try to do your very best. You try to find ways to give your children advantages that you never received based on your upbringing. Some people in the chat and some people in the world in their upbringing got their ass whooped damn near every day. And they turn out to be solid citizens. But there's other kids that got their ass whooped every day, traumatized. So much to the point where they don't want to whip their kid and or children, and that could be to that child's detriment in that individual child. That's why it's case by case. You can only do your best. You could raise a child in your house, be attentive, attend all the games, all the things that they got going on. And when they get older, they just don't talk to you. And you're like, what the hell? And you gave them all the advantages that they never got. So there's no book to it. Again, I know a lot of kids, such as myself, didn't get the best of everything growing up as a child. My mother actually bought us knockoff clothes. You know what I'm saying? When we was growing up, and as a grown man, and even when my mother was alive, we joked about it. When I got older, like, yo, mom, you remember you went down to a little corner and got us guess what instead of guess, or nautical instead of nautica. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the reason why I'm so damn fresh now. You know what I'm saying? Because of my upbringing, I didn't get all my clothes, so I'm Ralphie down. You know what I'm saying? But again, a part of my upbringing, it didn't make me feel like that was the end of the world. I really took from it like, yo, my mom is trying her best. I saw my dad work mad jobs and still be in debt. He was trying his best. My dad had his masters. My mom had her masters, and they were still struggling to put food on the table. So what I took from it was a greater appreciation only because I had an older brother. Because in the very beginning, I wasn't so appreciative. And it took my older brother, who was 11 years older than me, to school me to the game. Like, yo, mommy and daddy work hard, baby. You better start showing that love, or I'm gonna start busting you up around here, B. You like you stressing them out. So again, I had to see it and realize, like, yo, they really work hard and understand that what they do and our struggle and why it matters. So that way we take it to the next level when we become adults. So again, parenting is so crazy. You have all these pseudo psychologists online where they're like, no, to properly raise a child, you have to do this and you have to do that. Bullshit. A child could be literally raised with nothing and get used to having nothing and be raised with all those values and turn out to be the best kid, turn out to have a great job, being able to support him or herself, or vice versa. You could give them the world and they'll turn out to be bums. So there's never the right amount or the less amount to give a child when it comes to money or attention or whatever that you can provide for a child, because there's a difference between intention from the parent and what the child takes from it. Because the child could literally say, "You work all the time and you focus on paying bills. So for that, I never spend no time with you. And I believe you didn't love me because we didn't spend time together." And the parent's like, "What? I love you. I work because I love you." See the difference? Intent and what the child takes from it. So again, I had to double down on there's no book to parenting, because just like how I just laid out, no matter what you do, there's a difference between intent and what the child takes from it, what they receive. So I should say the lesson when I say what they receive. So there's a difference between intent and the lesson that the child receives. Anything you want to add to that, bro?
That was well said. That's well on point. I'm saying there is no book to this. It's family by family basis. You know what I'm saying, culture by culture basis, background by background basis. So yeah, there's no book to this. It's just yeah, it's how you were raised and how you want your children to be raised and what you do to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's in the legal sense and everybody's above board and everybody's respecting everybody's space and all that. So shouldn't be no issue how you raise your child.
Most parents, and this is just my opinion, you have to make a decision whether you want to raise grown kids or have adults. And what that means is, again, it's case by case, but you have to be very wary. You don't want to have grown adult children instead of having adults being able to say, "Look at my son, look at my daughter," even though we don't talk all the time, even though don't have the best relationship for whatever reason, they're a success because of the lessons that I was able to teach them and that prepared them for life. So you have to make a decision. You're not their friend. That's one thing I can say about parenting. You cannot be a child's friend all the time. But the relationships change throughout the years. There's a difference between when a kid is under a certain age and then when they become adults. So you have to make a decision either way. So that's my keep the lie alive for this episode. I had to double down on it because of those comments. So again, that's what it is. Again, thank y'all for tapping in. Y'all been amazing as always, each and every episode. Again, we're sorry for the little glitch and the little freeze up from time to time throughout the episode. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. We've been trying to mix it up, start the show early, start the show right when we start the show, because we've been seeing like this little freezing issue go in and out from time to time. But this is not every episode. So again, I want to thank y'all for those who endured and got the love, got the message, gave the love, and gave your just was engaging into the chats. Again, we're on every Thursday, every Sunday. Next episode is going to be even better. I guarantee it. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. They trying to, you know what I'm saying, get us out of here, but they can't get us out of here. We too strong and we too powerful for that. Again, shout out to some of the sponsors of the show: Bravo Section, Button Snaps, OUV Records. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit me on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild, or you can hit my bro on his Instagram at. So if you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, hit us up on Instagram. Thank you to our presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. Also, got a new album coming out, Winner's Loyalty, coming out May 26th. It was a new EP. It's a new EP, 5 songs. They're fire. So make sure y'all get ready to tap into my new EP. Again, Winner's Loyalty. In the mean in between time, just type in Ashley Lovechild and continue to support the music. I'm on every music platform. Just type in Ashley Lovechild. I know my bro got his website.
To bigbravossection.com.
Make sure y'all tap in. Um, we're on again. We're on this Thursday at 10:30. So make sure y'all tap in. Again, don't forget to hit the membership. Check the membership in the page. Hit the merchandise in the page. Hit that follow, hit that like. Got over 400 rewatchable videos right now of this podcast on this channel. Great conversational starters, friends, families, even coworkers. Share, share, share. We love y'all, and we're gonna see y'all this Thursday at 10:30. You already know what time it is. It's love. We out.